ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدى هدى رسول الله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه تسليما كثيرا وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Before we begin, we want these young brothers over here just to come to sit right here because I really want you guys to pay attention. I'm going to ask you some questions, inshallah, at the end of the dars. You can stay here. Just let these young guys sit right there because we really want to address the Islam of the future, inshallah. We want young people to learn Islam the correct way and not to learn Islam based upon our culture. We don't know what we're doing. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in the hadith that's authentic, showing us the virtues of coming to the masjid and learning the Quran. He asked his companions sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, أيكم يحب أن يغدو إلى العقيق أو برحان فيأتي منه كل يوم بناقتين كوماوين زهراوين من غير إثم ولا قتل رحم قالوا كلنا يحب ذاك يا رسول الله فقال صلى الله عليه وسلم لأن يغدو أحدكم إلى المسجد فيقرأ آيتين من كتاب الله خير له من ناقتين وثلاثة خير من ثلاث وأربع خير من أربع ومن إعداد ذلك من الإبل. He asked his companions, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, Ukasha, Bilal. He asked his companions, radiyallahu anhum ajma'in, which one of you people would like to go every day to Aqiq or to Bathan? That's the place that the Nabi used to keep the camels of zakat. He used to keep the camels of the zakat in that place not too far from Medina. So he had a lot of camels in that place. He said, which one of you would like to go to that place every single day and you go and you bring back 2 fat, voluptuous camels without committing any sin and without breaking the ties of relationship? Those companions said, all of us would love something like that every day. If I did that for 7 days, after 7 days, 1 week, I'll have 14 camels. And after 2 weeks, I have 28 camels. Every day I can go there and bring back 2 fat camels every day. And I don't have to steal it. I don't have to lie. I don't have to rob anybody. I don't have to do anything but go and get the camel. They said, we all want to do that. He told them, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, well, if you go to the masjid and you read 2 ayat or you learn 2 ayat of the Quran, is better for you than that. And if you learn 3 ayat or you read 3 ayat, is better than the 3 camels. If you learn 4 ayat or you were to read 4 ayat, is better for you than 4 camels. And on and on and on and on. So I want to ask this question. They told me that they have a madrasa upstairs. Who's in the madrasa here of the Quran? Is anyone in the madrasa of the Quran? When you learn the book of Allah, you come to the masjid. This is only the masjid. You learn the Quran in your house, it's not the same ruling. When you come to the masjid or in any masjid and you want to read the Quran or you want to learn the Quran, this hadith shows us the virtues of doing that in the masjid. If you read 2 ayat, 3, 4, 5. If you memorize 3, 4, 5. If you learn 3, 4, 5. It's better than going and coming back with a nice car. In our case, we don't have camels, nice cars. So many of us, those of us who drive, we don't have the best car. We don't have the best car. Some of us don't have any cars at all, and those of us who have cars, they're not the best cars. If you can go to the car dealer and come with 2 Mercedes-Benz, nice Mercedes-Benz, every day, go and bring back 2 without making any cent, everybody will be happy. If you go to the masjid to read Quran or to learn Quran, that's the reward that the Nabi has told us about, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam. So based upon this ayat or this hadith, I want to study with you brothers, inshallah ta'ala, as well as the sisters, 2 ayat from the book of Allah. There are many ayat that we can read and we can study, but we want to study today 2 ayat from the book of Allah. 2 ayat that focus upon the culture. Africans, where we come from, we have a lot of culture. There's nothing wrong with your culture. Pakistanis, Asians, they have their culture. Arabs, they have their culture. White people, Europeans, they have their culture. And Islam is not against the culture of the people. As a matter of fact, sometimes the culture plays a role in making something halal or haram. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, خُذِ الْعَفُوَ وَأْمُرْ بِالْعُرْفِ وَأَعْرِضْ عَنِ الْجَاهِلِينَ. He told the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when people do wrong to you, pardon them and forgive them. And also do things by the urf, do things the right way. And some of the scholars use this as a dalil to say that the culture here, the urf, what the people do in Ghana, what the people do in Somalia, the way that the people are in Nigeria, to take the urf, the culture of the people. Nothing is wrong with that. That's an ayat that shows the culture has a place in the deen. Respecting older people is part of our culture. In certain cultures, especially in Africa, the man or the father, the husband, he sits on the chair, and it's not okay for you, the son or the daughter, to sit equal to the father or above the father. You have to sit below them. There's no ayat in the Quran that said that you should do that. There's no hadith that says that you should do that. But because it's something that doesn't go against the deen of Allah, it's permissible. So the point here is, this talk that we're going to give about these 2 ayat, they focus upon the culture. They focus upon the traditions of the people. When the traditions and the culture go against the religion, now we have to say we're not going to do that. For an example, where we come from in West Africa, it's from our culture and our traditions. That when I get a baby, I go and I take him to the doctor, or I take him to my uncle, or I take him to someone. He takes a knife and he cuts his face to show what tribe we come from. That's the culture. In this case, the Prophet ﷺ told the people, "La tumathilu." Don't mutilate the people. You can't even do that to animals. You can't cut his nose off, can't cut his ear off. The Prophet ﷺ said about this particular culture, the ayahs of the Quran, that we shouldn't change the creation of Allah. So in a case like this, for an example, this is one of the many examples. In this case, my culture now, I can't do it because the Quran and the Sunnah said don't do it. So that's what this lesson is about today. The lesson today is about when your culture goes against the religion of Islam, you have to reject your culture. As an elderly person, I'm older than you younger brothers. Something in the culture goes against the religion of Islam, and you, the younger person, you're doing that correct thing. Me, as the older person, I can't be mutakabbir, I can't be mustakbir, and I can't say, our culture says you must do that. In Nigeria, for an example, whenever you're going to greet an older person in Nigeria, when the older person comes, you have to bend down on your knee to show respect. And if he's a very powerful, rich person in Nigeria, they even expect you to lay down on the floor sometimes. To lay down on the floor. And if you don't do that, the people will say you're disrespecting the elder. The companions from Yemen, there were a group of people from Yemen, they came, they embraced Islam. They say, Ya Rasulullah, when one of us meets our brother, should we bend down to him and make rukur'? Should we bend down and make rukur'? Bow down in respect? He said, no. They said, should we grab him all the time and hug him? He said, no. They said, should we shake his hand? He said, yes. And shaking hands is good. There's benefit in shaking hands. We'll deal with that later if it comes up. So the point here is, there are some people from Far East Asia, like Chinese people, Japanese people. From their culture is, you have to bow down. If you're learning Kung Fu or Karate or some martial art, the sensei or the teacher is there. Before starting your bout, before starting your lesson, you have to bend down to the teacher. You have to bow. And if you don't bow, they say this is disrespectful. As a Muslim, I'm going to say now, if I'm Japanese, if I'm Chinese, I can't bow to anyone because we only make rukur' to who? Who do we bow down to? We don't bow down to anybody except Allah. Bowing is a position of ibadah. It's only for Allah. Can we make sajda to someone? Sajda, when you put your head on the ground. Can you do that to someone? Prophet told the people, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one time he sent one of his good big companions. His name is Mu'adh ibn Jabal. He was from the ulama of the companions, the scholars. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent Mu'adh ibn Jabal to Yemen. He went to those people in Yemen and he gave them da'wah in Allah. The people became Muslims in Yemen. After that, the Prophet wanted to make Hajj, so he came from Medina to Mecca. Yemen is not far from Mecca, so Mu'adh ibn Jabal said, I'm going to make Hajj so I can meet the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I haven't seen him in a long time. When Mu'adh ibn Jabal came and he saw his beloved Nabi, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was happy to see him. So Mu'adh ibn Jabal, he fell on the ground and he made sajda. Everybody here knows what sajda is, right? Huh? Show us what sajda is, my man. Show him, hurry up. This is sajda. When we're in the salah, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, like that. The Prophet said, أَقْرَبُ مَا يَكُونُ الْعَبْدِ لِرَبِّهِ وَهُوَ السَّاجِدُ فَأَكْثِرُ فِيهَا مِنَ الدُّعَى. The closest the slave is to Allah is when he's in this position, so make a lot of dua to Allah when you're in that position. It shows that the person is humble. Anyway, Mu'adh ibn Jabal, when he saw the Prophet for the first time, after not seeing him for a long time, he made sajda. The Prophet said, Ya Mu'adh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Mu'adh said, Ya Rasulullah, the people of Yemen, this is what they do. Whenever they meet and greet their powerful people, their ulama, their sheikhs, this is what they're doing. And you're the Nabi and Rasulullah, so you deserve it more than them. The Prophet told him, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لو كنت آمرا أحدا لأن يسجد لأحد لأمرت المرأة لأن تسجد لزوجها ولكن لا سجدة إلا لله. He said, if I was going to order someone to make sajda to someone else, I would have ordered the wife to make sajda to the husband. But there's no sajda but for Allah. So the point here is, the culture of those people was to make sajda, to respect the sheikh, to respect someone. Bani Israel, that's how they used to do. Even in the story of Yusuf, if anyone knows the story of Yusuf said to his father, Ya abati inni ra'aytu ahada ashara kawkaba wa shamsu wal qamar ra'aytuhum li sajidin. I saw the 11 stars, I saw the sun and the moon, they were all making sajda to me. And at the end of the story, they all made sajda to Yusuf, because that was allowed in their religion. But in our religion, no sajda. So the point here, Ikhwani, I want you guys to stay with me. The point here is, if your culture is going against the religion of Al-Islam, you have to leave your culture. You have to leave your culture. So what are the two ayat that we want to deal with? The two ayat that we're going to learn today, inshallah, is ayat number 102 and ayat number 103 from Surah Al-Ma'idah. Surah Al-Ma'idah. What's the surah, my man? Al-Ma'idah. It's the 5th chapter, the 5th surah of the Quran. Allah Ta'ala mentioned, مَا جَعَلَ اللَّهُ من بحيرة ولا سائبة ولا وصيلة ولا حام ولكن الذين كفروا يفترون على الله الكذب وأكثرهم لا يعقلون وإذا قيل لهم تعالوا إلى ما أنزل الله وإلى الرسول قالوا حسبنا ما وجدنا عليه آباءنا أولو كان آباءهم لا يعلمون شيئا ولا يهتدون. 2 ayat of the Quran. If you go to the majority of the masajid in London, in the UK, and you ask the people about what I'm going to mention to you about these words, most people won't know about them. So what I want you brothers to do is, I want you to pay attention to what I'm about to share with you from the explanation of the Quran, from the tafsir of the Quran, from the explanation of the Quran. We've come to the masjid, we're here to learn 2 ayat is better for you than going to get 2 brand new Mercedes Benz. To learn 3 ayat, 4 ayat is better for you.